I'm Bill Saunders. I'm a human rights lawyer from Washington, D.C. And I wanted to think for a minute about what is or what are human rights. We hear a lot of talk about human rights. People are in favor of human rights. Everybody is in favor of human rights. But what are they? To think about that, I want to take you back 60 years. The world was engulfed in war. It was the Second World War, and it was a worldwide war. The fighting went on in almost every country in every hemisphere. Now, during this war, there were certain things that happened. Civilians were sometimes bombed intentionally, so the enemy combatant would target a civilian, a town, or they might be taken out in fields and murdered. There was also the torture of people in concentration camps. They would take people to these camps. Sometimes they would torture them unto death. Sometimes they would starve them to death. Sometimes they would use them for experiments that are unbelievable, like pushing them into freezing water to see how long a person could live if they were in freezing water. This happened both. There were terrible experiments the Japanese did to the Chinese in concentration camps, and of course there were the concentration camps in Europe where the Nazis did all kinds of terrible things. But throughout the war, although it was an important war where there was an evil trying to be imposed on people, there were a lot of things done that seemed to revolt the conscience. So after the United Nations was formed in 1948, the nations of the world issued a document called the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. My point for you to remember is this is not a wish list where a lot of people got together in a room and decided, well, we want to protect this, or we don't want to protect that, or we want to give this thing or give this other thing to people. It was born out of the experience of the terrible human atrocities in the Second World War. The point of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights was to avoid war by respecting human rights. So that document is based on experience. It's not a wish list. And it has many aspects to it. You can look up online and read it. But I want to point out a couple of things. First, it protects the right to life. It says everyone has the right to life, and no one shall be arbitrarily deprived of their life. It also protects things like religious freedom, freedom of the press, freedom to have a fair trial, freedom not to be tortured. So this comports, by the way, with Catholic understanding of the inherent dignity of the human person. So the Universal Declaration of Human Rights is based on a terrible experience of violating the inherent dignity of human beings, and it lists those things that we must respect in order to avoid those things happening again. I invite your attention to this document and to think about it, and to think about what it says about the inherent dignity of the individual human person. Thank you.